Raleigh, just forget that melody.
Raleigh, North Carolina. How's it going? Welcome in. If you're not familiar, you have now entered the RDU Live radio show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. And today I am your host, Cameron McCarty. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you're listening out there on the roadways, reach over, turn us up, but make sure you're buckling up if you're out there on Glenwood, 4540, wherever you might be in the Triangle. Just want to make sure you're staying safe. It's rush hour traffic. It's bumper to bumper. It's that time of the evening. Just want to make sure you're staying safe. And if you're watching out there on one of the streams, YouTube, Facebook, Live 365, wherever you might be in the Triangle or around the world, I want to say thank you as well. Go ahead, put something in the comments. Let us know you're watching. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. They say it helps the algorithm. Today is a Cam's conversation. So I'm going to be here. I'm not going to keep us too long. But this is a conversation between me and the listeners. And so if you're not familiar, this means that it is a call-in show, definitely. And what that means is when we're not playing music on the air, the phone lines are wide open. And that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. Once again, this is a Cam's Conversation show just to kind of catch you up on what's been going on with RDU Live, where we're going, and just a couple things around the Triangle just to have a little fun, a little conversation. So real quick, you already know it's Tuesday. You know how we do it on Tuesdays. CJ Baker and the crew, the open mic night over there at the Durham Beer Garden. They have an artist that starts at about 8 or 9 p.m. And then after that artist does a little showcase, it's an open mic. So bring your raps, bring your rhymes, bring your instruments. It's an open mic and a jam session. So you already know the Durham Beer Garden, downtown Durham, CJ Baker and the crew on Tuesdays. Cannot forget about Adam Lee Decker over at Southline Brewing. He's actually all across the city these days. He's doing open mic nights at King's on Monday. So King's is a bowling alley / arcade type deal up in the North Hills area. Really nice venue. But Adam Lee Decker, he's doing open mics up there. Of course, he's doing his open mics at Southline Brewing on Tuesdays. He's also the long-standing open mic nights at Growler Girls on Wednesdays. I want to say that's every other Wednesday there. So, you know, this show, RDU Live, is rooted in live entertainment. It's rooted in musicians and trying to get you out there. So we're always trying to promote different open mic nights. Hey, and if you're out there listening and you have an open mic night that you would like us to mention here on the radio, go ahead and let us know. We're really trying to create this community of open mics. I see a lot of them happening, and I want to be able to say, hey, that's an open mic you should go to. So if you're out there, you're watching, and you host the open mic night, you go to an open mic night that we haven't said here on the radio, let us know. Put something in the comments. Hit us up on Instagram, the RDU Live Show on Instagram, and let us know. And we'll come show support. I don't know if I'm gonna get on the mic. But I will show support, and I will tell other artists and musicians who will get on the mic to go out and support whatever you got going on. All right. So it's Tuesday. And I gotta shout those open mics. There's so many around, and I can't name all of them, but if you reach out to us personally, I'll make sure to write it down and try to remember it. Okay. All right. So RDU Live. This is the show. And we have different segments with different hosts, and we have a new host that came on. I want to say her first episode was last week, and Tyra Lynn tunes in, had her first episode, and we're so excited and appreciative of her bringing her talents onto the RDU Live stage, I guess you want to say, here on Oak 93.5. And she had an amazing time with an amazing artist, Mac the Black Sheep. So she's going to be back with Tyra Lynn tunes in. So I want to make sure you're staying aware of all that's going on, because we also have Camus Leonardo. He's another host, a local musician, a local artist, I should say, a hip hop artist in the area. He just performed at the Poorhouse the other week, had a great show, phenomenal show. He's performing at different places in the Triangle, but he's also a host on this show. And so we just want to make sure that you're staying aware, of course, but that you're not getting confused. You got Tyra Lynn tunes in. You have Cameron McCarty. I'm a host here on the RDU Live show. And we have the RDU Live Tapped In series with Camus Leonardo, just to cover different sectors, different genres, different people, and keep bringing the community together, and the network together. So if you're an artist out there and you want an opportunity to be showcased either with your music or, just come on and have an interview, you have multiple options. You have multiple options to become a part of the RDU Live ecosystem, as I like to call it. And once you've been on this show, we promote you as much as we can. We share, and we try to support. We try to support the people who support us. Likewise, if you're out there listening, you're a musician or whoever, don't forget we have our monthly playlist show. Our monthly playlist show this month, July. I'll be hosting it at the end of the month on the 30th, July 30th. And what that is, if you're listening out there and you don't know, we have a playlist show. We air it here live on the radio where we gather together 8 to 10 songs from different artists, local musicians, so local/independent musicians, and we showcase them on that show here on the radio. So if you are a musician and you have music to share, you have to go to our Instagram page or our Facebook page, and you have to follow the directions there. And the directions are, if you're out there listening and you're wondering, the directions are you have to like the post, share the post, follow the page, and then you have to send your music and your photo in to info@mccartytechtv.com. Okay? And so you really want to get the, if you're listening to this now, I want to say what's today, the 15th, 16th? Yeah, July 16th. If you're listening to this now, you only have a couple days, so we shut it off at July 23rd, I want to say, or July 27th. We're going to shut it off at 5 p.m., as well as when we get, enough tracks to fill the time, then we shut it off, and we're coming up close to that. So there's still a couple spots left. If you're a musician or a musician that would like to get their music played on the FM radio, on the airwaves, get a spin, then make sure they follow the directions, reach out to us, send us a DM or a comment, and then we can actually type those instructions out. And we're going to be doing that show ongoing. We're going to be doing that show at least once a month. So this month is going to be on July 30th. Next month, August 26th. I want to say I'm getting my dates right somewhere in there. I think it's the third Tuesday in August. We're going to be running that playlist show again. And so if you're an artist, musician, spoken word, anything that's, recorded on wax, then you're eligible. And the only request that we have as far as music goes is not genre specific, is that it has to be a clean radio edit. This is the FM airwaves, and we have to abide by certain rules. So it has to be a clean radio edit. And if you're unfamiliar with what that is okay as well. Go ahead, send us a DM, and we can impart some wisdom there for you. If you have music and you're unsure how to get a radio edit or what exactly it is, reach out to us. That's what this show is about. It's about empowering artists and making sure that I don't want to use the word teach, but that we're sharing knowledge. And oftentimes an artist will reach out to myself. I am not a musician, but I'll try to get them to collaborate with another artist that I might know, and they can share that knowledge and get that knowledge transfer that way. Okay, so we got a couple things going on. I wasn't able to recap last week because it wasn't my show. But the week before, July 2nd, if you've been following the show, you probably saw some of the flyers and things of that nature. It was my birthday, July 2nd. It was a great day. I just got to say, it was a great day. It was a Tuesday, July 2nd. And it was my birthday. But we had a special show. We were actually live on location at, you guessed it, the Durham Beer Garden, downtown Durham. We broadcasted live from there. Really good time, really good atmosphere. So wanted to give an appreciation to the Durham Beer Garden right here live on the airways for hosting us on July 2nd. Just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to be in your venue and host my birthday party but also the radio show and be dynamic and do some different things. So much appreciation to the Durham Beer Garden and all that they have going on over there. Okay. So a couple things, man. A couple things. We just talking housekeeping here, and then a couple topics. Once again, this is Cameron McCarty. If you didn't know, I live in Durham. So a lot of my takes come from Durham. And I was reading Indie Week. Indie Week is a local newspaper here, and I get a lot of information from Indie Week. The Best of the Triangle Durham County edition just came out. So if you're not familiar with that, go to Indie Week, INDY space WEEK, and it's a local magazine. Indie, if you can tell, it's an independent magazine, online version. And the Best of the Triangle Durham County came out, and so a list of really good places, literally, if you're looking for the best of restaurants, and from restaurants to electricians to places to socialize, all of the above. It's just a poll that they do every year, and they take submissions, and then they take votes based on those submissions, and then you get the best of. And so that came out. So if you're looking for places to go or things to do or just resources in Durham, that's a place to start. And kind of see who's on the list and what's there. All right. But also in Indie Week, they have a lot of good articles. They talk about different things. And one of the articles that they were talking about, one of these articles that I've alluded to in a past show, was about the construction in downtown Durham. And Justin Laidlaw, I'm going to reach out to Justin Laidlaw. He doesn't know me. I don't know him, but I read a lot of his articles. So Justin Laidlaw, I'm going to be reaching out to you. So maybe we can converse about all the good journalism that you're doing over in Durham. But he had an article about the construction that's going on in downtown Durham and how it was affecting, namely, or specifically, Full Steam Brewery. And I want to say that's on like Rigsby Avenue. Full Steam Brewery. It's across from Motorco. Very well-known music venue in the area. If you haven't been there, it's a really good place to check out a show if one of your favorite artists are playing there. But he had an article about how the construction was affecting that corridor and the businesses specifically on that corridor, like Motorco and Full Steam Brewery. And those businesses, business owners and managers were expressing their frustration with how long their construction was going and just kind of the plan around it. Now, jump forward to this week. There's another article. So, unfortunately, on Juneteenth, the BU Cafe, the Main Street location, the owner Dorian, he announced that they were going to be closing that location. And if you're not familiar with BU Cafe, it's been there for about 10. The structure or that location has been there for about 10 years. With BU Cafe, they actually have other locations, actually like in the airport. There's one on Duke campus. It's like a coffee shop type deal. They actually make coffee and sell the coffee in stores, but they also have brick and mortar locations. And the Main Street location, historically over the past literal decade, actually has been a live music jazz spot. A lot of jazz has been curated over the years there. And just over time in the last, post-COVID era, things have changed. And, unfortunately, they've closed down BU Cafe, the Main Street location, Main Street, downtown Durham location. And Justin did a very good job of interviewing the owner and trying to figure out why. And there's many reasons as to why, but one thing we're going to hone in on is the change in downtown Durham. There's a lot of specifics as to like parking and, once again, construction, and just overall business plan from an entrepreneurial aspect of it, entrepreneurial relationship with the city of Durham. But the overarching point is how downtown Durham and Durham as a whole, and also the Triangle as a whole, is changing and shifting. And a lot of it is due to, an influx of people. I forget the exact statistics, so I'm not going to try to quote it exactly, but year over year, we are growing at a pretty high rate. When it comes to the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill, all the above, we're going at a pretty high rate, which is amazing. That means that the cities are flourishing, and business, big and small business, are moving in. Commerce is happening. But with those changes, we've talked about it on the show, we've had this conversation. With those changes comes adversity. We've talked about the homeless population. If you're not familiar, here in the Triangle, there's a growing homeless population. So as condos are being built and people are moving in, there's also a growing homeless population. And it's really evident. If you go up on Highway 70, if you're familiar with the area, Highway 70 over in Raleigh, Durham, like the Glenwood corridor, Briar Creek, there's a pretty heavy population there. And then up on 15501, that corridor right there on between I-40 and 15501 up there, there's a pretty big homeless population up there. And those are just two, just to name a few. And the population has grown so much that the cities have had to make some ordinances and some decisions around those literal homeless communities. Tent towns, as some would call them. They're making decisions about them. And so, with the changes in all of these cities, construction, condos, I think I've talked about it before, the 5/1 condos, it's unfortunately forcing some people out, whether it be homeless communities or small business owners. It's changing culture. And one could say in a good way. Some could say in an interesting way. And it's also not helping inflation, right? So we all know everybody's in the same boat. Inflation is a real thing in the country. Everybody, every economic, social status in the world, in the country, is dealing with inflation. It has nothing to do with anything else other than that's where we're at, right? But then you couple that with this surprising increase in condominiums, high-priced homes, and tech jobs. The Apples of the world are coming in, and a different demographic is coming in. How do we have this relationship between the people who live here and the people who are moving in, or the business entities that are coming in, or the business interests that are coming in and having relationships with the cities that are getting tax breaks to build these condos? But the population that has been here, the existing population, the middle class population, and middle class is a very, very, very wide range. So I'm not being specific about numbers. That's a very wide range. How does that relationship work? How does everyone benefit? Or is it like a lack of a better term, or is it vultures coming in to bite off of an existing culture that's been built, over the past 10, 20 years here in the Triangle? And now this influx of people move in, this influx of business entities move in. How do both coexist? Since we're just talking about inflation here in the Triangle, being very specific here in the Triangle, how different parts of town, different areas. You can look at the restaurant scene. You have restaurants closing down like heavily in certain parts of the Triangle, while restaurants are being built in certain parts of the Triangle. There's this, if you watch really, really closely, there's this very interesting thing that's going on with commerce and business and economics. If you look really, really closely, things are changing. One could say for the better. One could completely say for the better. However, if you're working at a job and you hadn't had a raise in 2 years, is it better for you? The question of when you go out to eat, two people, drinks are involved or not, how do you end up spending $60 to $70 on a regular dinner? Now, I'm not saying that's specific to the Triangle or specific to any or it's big business's fault. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's where we're at. You couple that with the downtown area that's changing. One of the struggles I see is when you go downtown, you only have two choices of food. You're either going to spend $100 or you're going to get like small bites and still probably spend $100. I mean, maybe that's just the cost of going downtown. And I'm talking Durham, Raleigh, Cary. I'm talking everywhere. So just trying to figure out how these relationships work. If you've noticed anything like that here in the Triangle, wherever you might be, go ahead and call in. Let's have this conversation. I'm not trying to be right or wrong here. I just want to have a conversation about how does this change, this very aggressive, that's the word I've been looking for, this very aggressive change. How does it affect people who are already here? And how do we work with business leaders / city leaders to create some form of cohesion, some form of equilibrium? Because right now it doesn't feel like we're in equilibrium. It feels like inflation from a national level is high, as well as all of these 5/1 condos are being built. That yes, if you're a homeowner, it's going to help increase your home price. However, when you go to look to buy something else, you're priced out. From a local level, and there's so many things going on the national level. There's so many things going on, and we can only control so much. One could say we can't control anything. But on a local level, how do we have these conversations with business owners? How do we create some form of equilibrium in a very off-balance situation? So I was referencing the article earlier about BU Cafe and closing because that's a local business. It's been a mainstay on that Durham Main Street corridor for over a decade now, and they've had to make some real decisions based on a lot of factors. But the overarching point is the change. Change is good. Usually change is good. And I'm not saying this is bad. But even with the good, we still have to keep in mind equilibrium and cohesion. And I think that's missing. Okay? That's really what I wanted to talk about today. I want to just put a bug in people's ear just to be aware of what's going on in the Triangle around us. We all see it. We all see townhomes being built, condos being built. We all feel the pocket burn. But on a local level, how do we have these conversations? Because it's affecting us locally. It's affecting us here in the Triangle more than I think it has to. All right. So if you have anything you want to say about that, go ahead and reach over, pick up the phone, call us and talk to us. We're going to be getting off the air here in just a little bit, unless we have somebody call in and have that conversation. We're going to be getting off the air here in just a little bit. And if you don't know, that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. I'm your host, Cameron McCarty. This is the RDU Live Show. And right now, we're just having a conversation. Doing some housekeeping and talking about the Triangle. We're here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I live in Durham, but we're having a conversation about the Triangle as a whole and just where it is economically and socially and how we're being affected by a lot of the things that's happening that we all see. And so just to, kind of recap some things as I kind of, ease my way out of here, just to recap on a couple of things. Hey, we got the playlist show coming up on July 30th. If you weren't listening at the beginning, just to recap, that playlist show is just us showcasing some local talent. So if you're a musician or you know a musician that needs to get their music spun right here on Oak 93.5 on the FM dial, then have them send their music in. Have them send their music in, and we'll get them all the information of how to do all the directions. And the only thing we ask, it does not matter about genre. The only thing we ask is that you get your music in on time, you follow all the directions, and it's a clean radio edit. It has to be a clean track. And if you don't know what that is, send us a DM and we'll get some knowledge over there to you and help you figure out how to get a radio edit done and get your music played on the FM dial. It's Tuesday, so don't forget about CJ Baker open mic night over at the Durham Beer Garden. Hey, appreciate them for hosting us on July 2nd. Want to just say thank you to the Durham Beer Garden for opening up their doors and having me there for my birthday, as well as Oak 93.5 having us live on the air in their building. They were so gracious to do that. And don't forget about Tyra Lynn Tunes In and Camus Leonardo, the RDU Live Tapped In series. So Tyra Lynn Tunes In is a series of the RDU Live show. And Camus Leonardo, he hosts the Tapped In series of the RDU Live show. And they're going to be on the air this month, next month, and the months to come. So keep looking out for who their guests will be and what they'll be talking about. All right, I'm going to get off of here a little bit early today. I got some things that I need to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to play some tracks and just let you have about 30 minutes of just relaxing in the car and jamming out to some tunes. Look, I appreciate everybody for listening. This has been the RDU Live show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY, and I'm your host, Cameron McCarty. And like I like to say, let's go live.